So, welcome to the Magdalene Global Collective podcast. And you're joined with me, Lisa Marie Duffy. And I have a beautiful Rose Priestess also, sacred traveler and retreat facilitator. And she also does some psychic cleansing courses as well. And there's lots for you to know about. And her name is Melanie Seraphina. And I'm just honored. I feel so honored and so grateful to really connect with you today. And just, I can't wait to hear about all of your stories as well and your journey to Egypt and just how your life has really changed since you've been guided onto this path. So, welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. So, and thank you so much for inviting me and for spending some precious time with me today.
You're so very welcome. So, I'd love to ask you, what was your introduction to the path? Like, how did you come onto the path? And how did the beautiful goddesses, like we were speaking together about Sekhmet and, some of the beautiful Egyptian goddesses, like how did they come into your life?
Yes, my path has been not the usual one, I would guess. Finding Mary Magdalene, I've been connected to Egypt for over 25 years now. My family immigrated in 2000 to Egypt, so I became a woman really in Egypt. And Sekhmet made a very, very big impact on my life very, very early on. All the mythology and the stories that I was being told in the temples did not align to what her eyes were telling me when I stood in front of her in her chapel. Fast forward, I grew up, I studied, I married, have two beautiful kids, left Egypt in the meantime, and my journey really, really started to become very deep in 2022 when I was called back. A crystal sister from Switzerland and a friend of mine called me up very excited and said, Melanie, we need to go to the pyramids. We need to lay a crystal portal. And can you take us there? And that's kind of how this connection came back. I've always been guided by Sekhmet, which is hard. Not everybody's cut out having Sekhmet as their personal guide. She's very fierceful, she's very honest, and she's very fire blaze. We're going to destroy it all so that we can build, of course. Always through a highest good. But sometimes that's hard to face those realities and face those truths.
Yeah.
So face on, right? Isis was the next beautiful goddess who walked into my field, and I was very connected with her, doing a lot of heart portal activations, a lot of her beautiful magic and resilience, really. Her story. Her husband was killed, split over Egypt. She
Yeah.
found all the pieces, putting back together again out of this love, out of this essence, this devotion. Their child was born. She had to protect her child. So pretty much everything that a modern day woman goes through, divorce, single parenthood, and so on and so forth, betrayal from her sister, and. And I studied very closely in the temples and with the Kemetic tribe in Egypt, the Isis's teachings. And then in 2023, on the Philia Island, I heard this new beautiful voice calling me to the one side of the island, and I didn't know who she was. And I was there and I stood there, and she revealed herself that it was Mary Magdalene inviting me to look across the island. And I was like looking, and I was like, there's water and there's nothing else. What am I looking at? Didn't know, left in gratitude. And of course, the dream started coming in and the vision started coming in. And she has become very much my bridge from ancient temples to France and the Rose lineage, and
Yeah.
this knowledge that was passed on. So then my journey went a little bit into Anna, right? The grandmother of Jesus, the lineage of Mary Magdalene, but also Mother Mary. And all of a sudden, all these connections started popping up, not only in the teachings, of course, which are so, so, so aligned once you go deeper into them, but also all these rose lineage keepers in Egypt started showing up who have facilitated for centuries the travel of the sacred families and the knowledge and the initiations and so on. And I get to work with them and travel with them when I go to Egypt now as well. So, yes,
Oh,
it's been a beautifully aligned and blessed path. And Mary Magdalene has been she always comes back into my field when I need that bridge and that connection to, well, what does it mean today? Well, what is it in our life? Where is it today? How can we work with it today? And because of the eyes of Sekhmet, for me, Mary Magdalene has got so much more power. She's so much more flame. There's so much more, I'm in command of this and not the retreater that just prays for 30 years in a cave somewhere. She has so much of that power. And, and I'm hoping that bridge connection as well allows people to really go deeper into her strength that she brings with, right? And that power that she empowers us with when we work with her frequency and her rose knowledge, really.
yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you're doing courses as well, Melanie, are you?
Well, yes, I end up giving up my daytime job and really following my love, my mission
So
for the
what
last.
were you before you actually you came onto the rose path?
I was working in the hotel and tourism industry for many, many years. I
Um,
was in Egypt also for Neckermann Thomas Cook doing project work and things like that.
yeah.
And then I qualified or I specialized in digital marketing. So I was running a 17 head marketing department in the south of Germany for a furniture store, doing quite a few million of turnover a year, being responsible for that. Loved working with the people, love forming people, love giving them space to become the best of what they can be, challenging them as well, of course, but, becoming
Yeah.
round and full because that was always my job. I saw to get the most out of those and have them healthy and centered while they're doing because then my work gets easier, our job is done better, we clarify, we can just achieve our goals on a much greater and easier level, really. But sacred travel for me in Egypt has always been connected in the past with doing clearing of grid work. And I know there's a big
Yeah.
group of us who has been doing so much grid work and dark grid work, reversals and clearings and so on.
Yeah.
And
Working
that
on the
was
land. Even in
working,
Ireland as
yeah.
well, there's a lot that are working on the land.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
got a
And
beautiful.
even the wells and the yeah,
Yeah,
to
who
the
lives in
water.
Ireland and who's traveled with me a few times. And
Yeah.
absolutely, I think that's the responsibility that coming
Yeah.
home of with that knowledge, right? What are we doing in our waters, in our land, for our air, for our animals, and so on. What Egypt did show me, though, always going back, clearing,
Yeah.
working the grid, was how much overlays, implants, systems, rituals were being
Mhm.
used against us, really, not to remember. And
Yeah.
that has
To
led
keep everybody asleep.
absolutely. And all like in Egypt, the case give you a version where, oh, that doesn't sit energetically at all. But you kind of told, oh, this temple is all about love and harmony and, whatever and whatever. And you walk through it and your body just goes rejection, no ways in hell. There's other overlays here. There's other messages here. And when you have the opportunity, like me, I speak Arabic, I speak the Coptic language, and you start studying hieroglyphs, and you go with old Kemetic tribes from Egypt, authentic, lineage, and you start reading the rituals on the temple walls, and you go, oh, this is interesting. This is a measurement. This is a recipe, very clear. Certain things added together. Then a crocodile gets slaughtered, and the blood gets power spoken over, and then you drink blood. That was the moment where we all kind of went, okay, this is a deeper reality. There's a deeper
Yeah.
core to
Yeah.
Egypt fell at some point, right? I mean,
See, there was many portals as well that were open. You see, they're not always good. That's the thing as well, you know?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
over the years, my psychic and my channeling abilities, of course, have grown,
Yeah.
and I see portals now. When we receive technology, before we used to close portals in the fear of, we don't know what the portal is. Now
Yeah.
we overlay portals because you close one, they just open the next one, pop out next door and things like that.
Yeah,
But a
that's
lot
true.
of stargates, right? A lot of the Mother Ark portals, things like that are still in Egypt connection. And a lot of us has been working with the sun discs and reactivating our blueprint, our memories, and walking Egypt definitely helps with that. But walking
Yeah.
Egypt unprotected, so spiritually not protected, can have
Yeah.
devastating consequences. And I was always the party pooper because I always said, people, you at home, you clear, you ground, you protect yourself. But when you come to Egypt, you're so in that
You want to
energetic
soak it all
field,
up.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
in that so many people forget about the spiritual hygiene you would practice
Mhm.
with the client when you are serving, and you forget to practice that in Egypt. And the consequences of that I have seen firsthand. So, and it's not about fear, or it's not about, going down that rabbit hole. The brighter your light is, the more coherent and sealed your aura is, the less can affect you, and you're at the center point of twist, fall, manipulation, and dark systems. So it has become, not that I wanted that path, I can tell you in the beginning,
No, but it
but
comes. Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
become part of my mission to support people in being energetically, or like I call it now, having a good spiritual hygiene. Like you would cleanse your body on a daily basis and look after yourself, you need a good set of daily discipline for your spiritual hygiene. And then
Yeah.
things start magically becoming clearer, easier, less noise, because we get to get rid of all that artificial extra projection,
Yeah.
other people's fields, all of that comes into us. And we actually start to get to work on our own true self. And that's when it gets juicy, right? When you're not busy with all the other things that aren't important for your path.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Really,
like that space of no mind, really, isn't it? Because
absolutely.
I
And
find it's when you actually zone out, when you come to that space of love and you feel like I'm actually not holding on to judgments. I'm not holding on to any energy that's not mine. I'm not holding on to any energy of anything of fear, worry, or lack. I'm just in that heart space. And you'll find you're not attracting it in either. You know, that kind of way you're just in that lovely space of love.
And you're not open for
Yeah.
negotiation. You have your declaration, I am team
Mhm.
light, like I always say. So there's
Yeah.
no, and we are in a very, very important, difficult, chaotic part of the ascension cycle, right? So there are
Yeah.
certain rules and game rules which we didn't understand before, many, many of us. I
There's
mean,
a lot that's changing too on the planet, though, isn't there? I mean, it really is a case of you're going to see a lot of systems fall, and you feel like maybe a lot of it is collapsing too, that kind of way, just
absolutely. And
before it gets better.
yes, yes. And of course, Egypt and like the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber are naturally, because they're built on a crystalline grid, because of the
Yeah.
stones that's used, they natural 0 points. And, so when you start studying as well the Egyptian Kemetic and the geometric and the mathematics behind the frequencies, the hertz and these chambers, and you get to experience the sound sealing hospitals and, all this type of thing in Egypt.
Yeah.
Your body naturally remembers how it is to be in still point, and how it is to be in 0 point, and how it is to come back into that heart centered coherence of no lack of anything, abundance. There's enough for everybody of everything. It's just a distribution problem, and that's what we need to fix on our planet, and nothing else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Would you recommend, like, if you really do feel called to go to Egypt, is it really intense? How would it be for someone who's never been before? That's just going for the first time. Do you feel there's a preparation that does need to be done?
Absolutely. I can only speak from my own personal experience
Yeah.
and the odd 50 plus souls that I've led personally to
Yeah.
Egypt, right? My learnings have been Egypt is so intense because especially those who are called to work with me also have past life experiences and bleeds that are coming through strongly in Egypt. So we have Orion coming in, we have Sirius coming in, we have all these past life priestesses experience bleeding through when we're in, in the different sacred sites. So for my clients, it has proven very, very beneficial to have a preparation of a few weeks before we travel. Of course, have that sacred bubble and space for you to travel in. So yeah, we take care of everything that has to do with 3D logistics, accommodation, thinking, where I am, what I'm doing. You can just be in that space to fully, I mean, I have clients who walk bare feet and don't have their wallets with them, just being held so that they can be, but also having that integration part because
Yeah. You
if
need
you
time
go
afterwards as well.
scientifically as
Yeah.
well, if you go into the or into the king's chamber and you
Yeah.
do have your chakras mixed up. It takes scientifically, and a beautiful Russian team has actually proven that with aura pictures of how your chakras get scattered, and they need 49 days to find their place back into your energetic field and realign. Now, if you're not supported for those 49
Wow.
days,
Mm.
all kinds of things can go right. That can also go wrong, right? And most people have profound remembrance, profound light language that comes through, profound messages. But then you go home, back in your normal life, back at your day job, back as a mommy or a wife or whatever combi of. And very, very few really then get to reap the fruits of their own memory and activation in their daily life, in their actual being, because it's not supported to integrate and fully become, because that's what it's all about, is the frequency which you carry afterwards, right? And
Unless you live very close to the land or very close to the beach where you could just have a walk every evening and just be in the elements, you know? That's
absolutely,
the
elements help so much, but there's certain breath work techniques. There's, small little meditations, small little intention settings. It's just small little tools that helps the direction of what we want to achieve to stay the focus of your energy. Although you're not able of being the whole day in sacred site, right? Now you're back at work and back in life. And that's beautiful. That's how it should be. But a lot of people feel that drop because the country, the sacred land of Egypt does that automatically for you. You're
yeah.
vibrating at such a high dimension and vibration that it's hard sometimes to come back and to that flatness, you can say. And now you have
Yeah,
to
it's
pull
like
your
you
way.
nearly hit the ground, like a ton of bricks.
Absolutely. And you have to now pull in that energy and vibrate your molecules by yourself and keep your spirit up and keep your energy flowing in that right direction. And that's where it's just over the years, I didn't start like that. I didn't know it
Yeah.
better. But over the
It's
years,
the same myself, you have to learn the hard way, and the hard way is when you hit the floor, that's the thing.
and I mean, I've done over between private retreats, small groups, and big groups. I've visited Egypt in the last 3.5 years, 20 times. So I've had that experience in my own life, in my own family, and then with so many of the beautiful souls that travel with me. And some can really hold it well, and some can't. And that's where I think one really needs to look for a facilitator that can hold space to the highest good of your unique divine plan unfolding. And that needs to be supported in whatever way or form that is for you as an individual, really.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's the same with a healer. It's that you may be drawn to some healers and not drawn to others, but they're connected to your same similar soul group and soul essence. And you're just going really to it. What doesn't really matter. I feel myself, no matter what you do with a group in group work, they'll only ever go to a level they're able to go themselves as well. Like if they're not ready, it won't happen. No matter how much they really want it to happen, or they really want to see angels, or they really want to have that experience,
On the
it won't
contrary,
happen till you're ready.
When you
There's
take that
something you
expectation out, sorry, yes.
Yeah, there was something you mentioned earlier as well, and it was so interesting because I had this, like, really strong feeling as well as, like, "Wow, she's been through it too." But when you mentioned that Sekhmet, when you work with her, or, like, when you work with any, dark goddess, like any powerful fiery goddess, even Kalima,
Mhm.
or Hecate or any of, the other goddesses as well, like you have, Cheredwin in Wales, there's many different types around the world. But like that, they have the ability as well to, like, if something's not working in your life or something's not right for you, it can all be stripped away. Like you can feel like you're being turned upside down really and inside out, can't you? Have you had this
Absolutely.
happen for you?
Absolutely. I was I was very blessed that I was walking in the beginning with a real, authentic, Kemetic Egyptian tribe because they knew the power of Sekhmet from the beginning, right? In contrary to others who maybe go there and say, oh, please remove everything which isn't to my highest good. And you kind of have seven pillars, which is built six of incorrect income or, whatever, and they just get blazed away. But on a personal level, absolutely, I've had moments where I felt like my whole identity has just been stripped. Everything that I've ever built up in my life that I could hold on to and say, well, that's me because of, or a title, success, a mission, or whatever,
Yeah. Or
stripped
who you
away.
think you were. It's the ego as well that kind of attaches to some kind of identity. Because that's where you feel safe. Like that's the safest place for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
She
amazing.
removed that.
Especially the last couple of years, there's been a lot, hasn't there? There's been a lot of ups and downs.
It's been tiresome, and to stay in the heart space, and to really, I mean, we have these profound moments where it goes, aha, and a click, and everything kind of
Yeah.
aligns. And then I always see it as spirals, right? So then you spiral out and you go into the world, and boom, bang, it happens, whatever happens. And then you have a choice. Do I now stay there in the ego or in the whatever is connected to that? Or do I really spiral back into the
And
heart?
come back
I
to the heart
prefer
again. Mm.
heal, remove what isn't mine, just take what is really mine. And then, it circles out again. And I think and that's really what Sekhmet teaches you. I mean, I've gone to bed at night where my co-facilitator just decided she's not coming to Egypt. We've paid everything. We don't have one client, and it's 3 weeks before departure. And she would burn away
No.
all of that in one moment because it wasn't
Yeah.
aligned. I would
Yeah.
go online, I would remove this person's energy, change three sentences, leave it there, go to bed, and wake up with three souls who are
Yeah,
ready
of
to travel
course.
with me.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
really, really teaches you surrender and trust.
Mm. I
And
found for me now, I had the similar experiences as well, but I found it was like I knew when I was there because it was like I was brought to a place where all I could do was just get down on my knees. And it was like, just surrender now. Like, you can't do this. This is not you trying to control everything. Like, it's us, we're aligning everything for you. Like, and when I come back to that place again, you think, my God, I'm here again. But you're on your knees then, and once you do, that's when you come back to humility. And it's like the heart opens, and then you're in complete resonance with that love that's just surrounding it. And then everything starts to change. Like it happened for me, would you believe, on a Saturday. And like that, I had the dream of Sekhmet. I was doing a journey with her, and she came in, and I felt this real fire energy. It was really strong. The heat was strong. And I just asked her, I said, look, just burn everything away. I'm letting go. I'm letting you help
mm,
me. Please help me. And now I'm surrendering. And like that, yourself reached out to me. Some other beautiful lady from across the world reached out to me. A PhD student reached out to me as well to want to know all the research on Mary Magdalene. It was like all the synchronicity happened overnight. And it was like, here you go now. Like that, client started booking and everything started but I had to go to the pause and the reset and the, like you said, the still point first, before it all started to change, There was something interesting you were talking about as well, and you were talking about the water beings and the energy of the water. So you're really like a water priestess as well, aren't you?
Very much the connection, what we have discovered over the years, right? Our most beautiful priestesses who are connected to Isis are water code keepers.
Yeah.
And at some point in the fall of Egypt, the priestesses encoded through the Ankh their knowledge and this coding into the Nile water. And there's a big, like, old story, right, that the blue lotus used to be full on the Egyptian Nile. And when the blue lotus returns, that's when the
Mhm.
restoration of the memory of the priestesses and these Nile codes are restored. And I was amazed. I was blessed to travel a lot, 3 times between December and April to Egypt this last
Yeah.
year. And if you can see the difference in the fauna and the flora along the Nile, the bird life, the life itself starting to exist, the crystal grids are growing. I mean, you can track them in Egypt, you can walk on them, it's not something somebody made up. Those crystal grids
Yeah.
are actually there, and we've traced them for 60 kilometers at one point, where we've traced the crystalline under the surface from the Giza Plateau, for instance. And I do believe it's a lot like blue flame keepers is a word that keeps on coming through as
Yeah.
well. Like these, yeah, original code keepers of the blueprint of humanity where we interacted with each other on a basis of love consciousness and not
Yeah.
greed and lust and ego and power and everything else which kind of took over the system at a
Yeah. It's the human existence, isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
yes, the water's played a major role. Again, not knowing, but once we arrive, and that's really what my part of the mission has become. I set out the call very much. Sekhmet brothers and sisters, I call in regularly.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of those coming into my field. But I set the call in, that is the mission, that's where we're going. And then all these souls come in, step in to do the work with me, because it's not just your own personal work,
Beautiful.
right? Everything we're doing
Yeah.
I am flame on this planet in that moment. But we have water topics, and I've had to dash into closed lakes and all kinds of funny things for the code reactivation and bringing those codes back online, back into the memories. And everybody who travels with me brings with a certain frequency. I always call it a tone or a key. And only when
Yeah. It's
all
like key.
are
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
we put our keys in together and it unlocks a new level or a new phase of the work that we're doing, really. So it's super, super interesting. And I'm always just one part of the puzzle, and everybody else, are the holders of that wisdom of
Yeah, it's like every person is part of that grid as well. It's like all the pillars, you know? And it's like they call the number as well. If they say like, well, there's going to be 4 gathered here or 7 or 13, it's as many people as it's supposed to be aligned as well, you know?
absolutely. And when you not look, when your business model isn't based on turnover and profit, you
Yeah.
travel with whoever the grid and the universe has brought together for you. If it's 2, if it's 5, if it's 20, doesn't really matter. Important is that the call went out and those who had to hear it heard it and stepped
Yeah.
in. So
They're
um,
just saying there as well, like that, there's a connection there to Hathor. And I just see all these light beings coming in behind her as well. You're aware of that, are you?
yes, I work with
Yeah.
the 7 sisters of Hathor.
Oh,
It's
the
not
Seven
really,
Sisters, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not just
Because it's
one.
like a serious light, but it's also like a blue light. It's a real blue as well,
Very blue,
just
yes,
around you. Yeah.
yes. Yes, I'm very grateful. I mean, Isis really brought me in
Yeah,
to Hathor because now we're in the time where love, abundance, dance, joy, all of these
yeah,
things are supposed to be
yeah,
filling our time and our
yeah.
space and our hearts. But it's
It's like
always
we have to let go of the 3D world, just let go of that, like, just
absolutely.
surrender what you feel this is. Because, as Archangel Michael always says to me too, it's like time is actually an illusion.
Mhm.
And a lot of this is an illusion. That kind of way. It's all mental as well, isn't it?
And we
It's all
create our own
spiritual.
reality, right? That's what the
Yeah.
Kemetic teachings really, really teach you is
Yeah.
where your focus is. And I mean, we live in little paradises if you think about it. If you're fortunate to live in the land, be close to nature, have a loving, supportive system, family around you. And of course, there's a lot going on around in the world, but actually, we've managed to create little pockets of paradise, around
Yeah.
us. And it's always interesting when I work with clients because often between the womb, the heart, and the throat, I work with Sekhmet, Isis, and Hathor, and they would have a discussion on when they kind of say, okay, I'm done with her. Now it's your turn. Now we've placed everything away, kind of hold her now so that she can rebuild and then come into that joy and that, because it has to be fun. If it's not
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
why are we doing it then? It
Yeah.
has
If we're not having your joy or creating your joy. But yeah, it was interesting. One of the healings I did recently, because I give rose sessions as well in person.
beautiful.
And I was working on a client's shoulder, and like that, they had like a damaged, like there's an issue of like a damaged area in the shoulder. And like that, I just called in Sekhmet and I said, look, if you can burn this way, like if you can physically help here, please help. I'm just giving you the opportunity now would be wonderful. But they never said anything, the client, but afterwards they said that they actually felt like my hands were burning them, that they were being burned. And I was like, I only had my hands, but it was definitely the energy, but I could not say, to them exactly what it was that I was bringing in, but they did feel better. They did. So just to
Well, yeah,
let you know as well, she could
in
bring
the
physical healing.
absolutely. In Egypt,
Yeah.
if you study the authentic lineage, the
Yeah.
Sekhmet priestesses were called soul surgeons. They were extremely well trained on
Yeah.
whole anatomy of the body, the nervous system, the vessels, the blood system, the lungs, everything. And if you become a master Sahem healer in this Sekhmet
Yeah.
lineage, you feel like you're a nurse or a doctor afterwards because you have to study every single body part, understand the glands and the processes and the
Yeah.
colors and the directions and the sounds and the tastes that support that healing in that part. And they were known as surgeons. They were the first surgeons in the Egyptian history.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, she's
God,
amazing.
that's incredible. Yeah, it is amazing. It is, because I've studied the ancient, the Egyptian teachings myself, but that's the only thing now. Like how, like I suppose really it's your intuition and your guidance too, but like how do you know what's the most authentic teachings that you can be studying? That's the thing, because there has been other groups and associations and orders, we'll say, throughout history as well. So
Yes,
which
that's
is
a
in the
hard
correct
one.
flow and which isn't, is what I mean to say.
I was shocked, I have to be honest, because in
Yeah,
my mind, I was in Egypt. I met a Kemetic tribe of original Egyptian priestesses and I trained under them. Then I kind of came back and I started the traveling, and people started asking me, and I started sharing what I learned. And then all these, like, not conflicts, but conflicts in certain points started
yeah,
showing up because they would say, oh,
yeah,
this one channel this and that, and he calls it Shahem and it's connected to Ricky and all this type of things. And then I'm like, well, I can guarantee you there is no Ricky history in the Egyptian temples. So if you are
yeah.
studying a lineage, and I understood it, I did a
So I
bit of
did actually do Sikkim years ago. Like, I mean, maybe 18 years ago or
research.
something like that.
as I understood it, that there were certain people who channeled the Sahem life force energy and the
Mm.
power of that. They didn't have the Egyptian background, they didn't have the mythology or the knowledge of the temples. So they kind of packed it into that what they were doing
Or
already
modality.
and
Yeah,
kind of added it in there somewhere. But
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
I've actually just spoken because I want my courses to be accredited, and I refuse to
Oh,
court
fabulous.
with Reiki
Yeah,
and with Shahem because they're not
yeah,
from the same lineage, really, if you go into the
yeah,
authentic lineage. So they've actually created a whole new section for me that's called only Sahem, because even
brilliant.
those who channeled the Sahem, lineage
Yeah,
correct themselves many years later and admit that they just didn't have the knowledge, which is okay. I mean, everybody works with what tools they have in that
yeah,
moment. But to our fortunate advantage now, the Egyptian people themselves have remembered their history and their lineage. And there's a big Kemetic tribe in Egypt who don't cater for foreigners. Most of their work is in Arabic.
yeah.
Because I speak Arabic, I could train with them, of course, but they are actually focusing on reviving the true Egyptian lineage and the true
That's
Egyptian.
what it feels like. Yeah, it's like a sacred, sacred order, isn't it? And it's just
And it's
they're
very
trying to
different
keep it pure.
to this westernized look that many,
Yeah,
many people have actually. And I was like, why on earth are you using symbols which don't show up in the Egyptian temples? I mean, that just like
yeah,
put me off in that moment because we have Isis's symbols and we have Hathor
yeah.
symbols and we have Sekhmet symbols, Horus, Osiris, and so on. So why are you, mixing that in
Yeah.
that point? But
Maybe it's better just to let it come pure, let it come natural. So like if you receive an ankh, just trust that, trust what you're given as well,
the
you
Ankh,
know?
for instance, yes,
Yeah.
of course, or um, join a course. I mean, I teach that
Yeah.
now as well for those who get called and try and
Yeah, it
figure
sounds
out
amazing.
what the original, I mean, sound, breath, yoga, energy work, all
Yeah.
comes from the temples. It's all in the scripts, it's all in the
Mhm.
temple pyramid texts and so on. But it's not the same method from application as what you would do a Reiki session. There are distinct differences, and those you can learn if you feel called to do so. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I feel, Melanie, really you're a medicine in yourself. You really are.
Oh, thank
You
you so
know?
much, my darling.
Yeah.
That is
And
so
you're doing amazing work. It's just to remember that too. I was taught on my journey as well. It's like sometimes we can't give our power away to other people outside of us because we think, oh, we put sometimes people, our teachers on a pedestal. But it's to remember as well the power that you are yourself too and the medicine you have and the connection you have with spirit. Like, and I can feel it, like it's truly beautiful.
Thank you so much. And
So
that's
like
really,
you're a
really
gift
what
yourself.
thank you so much. And that's really what the temples teach you. Every
Yeah.
person with the right dedication and discipline can become a priestess and a surgeon and can move energy and heal themselves. And my journey started to heal my children and, didn't start with any business in place, or whatever
Yeah.
not. And I think when you authentically start your work like that, first on yourself and then on others close by, and you test and trial, and then all those right frequencies come in and all those lights go on and all those doors open for you to remember at an accelerated speed, because I think that's what life is all about. It's like a boot camp of boom, boom, boom. You have to wake up and remember who you
Yeah.
truly are and how much power you truly carry. And once you felt the Sekhmet flame, there's no doubting how powerful we as women and as human beings really are. And I mean, and that just goes right down all the way to the rose and to Mary Magdalene. I always say,
Yeah.
God has been sending us the same message for eons in different forms, in different packages, with different ascents, maybe, to what was needed in that time period. But the message has always been the same. Everything we need is in us already. We don't need to go looking for it outside, and also not blaming the outside. That one has to say as well, right? Everything which is in our lives also comes from the inside. So it's the inside work that needs to be done. And I think
Yeah, and we
many,
can be the inner alchemists as well. Like we can just spread the love, and be the love, be the energy that you wish to see in the world, Gandhi, as Gandhi said.
yes, and staying in that neutral witness. And I mean, that's the hardest thing to do in these days because you have people attacking you and you have people that are unfair and unrighteous and all
And
this kind of
mirrors or projectors.
all of this
Yeah.
kind of thing happening around you, and really, really being able to stay in your own center, in your own core, and keep your sanity of who you are is a challenge. And we have so many beautiful goddesses and teachings that are being remembered and are being channeled and are just assisting us to make that path easier in understanding, not easy in going, but easier in understanding, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Even to hold the peace in your life, to bring that into your life, isn't that amazing?
Yes. And
It's a gift. I was
I
going to ask you, Melanie, is there a little offering or a little gift that you'd like to just share with all the listeners today as well? Even if it's a little meditation or a little healing or a blessing, that would be
Oh,
lovely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I teach, it goes back to the Vedic Isis, Mary Magdalene, heart-centered meditation. So we always go through the heart. We normally do a clearing and a shielding, and then we move into the heart because Isis and Mary Magdalene, right, teaches that heart is the portal, the heart is the seat of the soul, the heart is your stargate. So I have there's 3 specific little steps that I teach, and I'd love to share the first 2 steps with you today, where we just go into the heart and just have the 144 divine flames of love just burn away everything that we don't need for this day to stay focused, stay in peace, and stay in clarity. How does that
Yeah.
sound?
Oh, beautiful. And I can really feel her energy. Their energy is really just coming through now. It's so strong. So just enjoy this there.
Thank you so
And
much.
beautiful.
I invite you to just get comfortable with me for a couple of moments. You can stay seated or in a laying down position, whatever is more comfortable. And we're just taking a couple of deep breaths, breathing in beautiful love and light, and just exhaling through the mouth. Anything which is heavy, and inhaling this beautiful energy of sisters coming together and supporting the grid as well. And breathing out any to-do lists or things which you still have to take care of today so that you just come into a place of clarity. Breathing in the love and support of the many, many beautiful light beings, rose lineage, and divine goddesses who have gathered to support us here today. And breathing out any doubt or fear that you might carry in your heart today. Now, I want you to bring attention to the left side of your body, which is your feminine side. And just feel your left side, your hands, your feet, your knees, your ear, maybe. Fully become aware of that left side of your body. And now I want you to feel into the right side of your body, your masculine side. Your hand, your elbow, your knee, your feet, your foot, better said, with your toes. That is your masculine side. And now we're going to try and bring those 2 sides with their energies and their frequencies and bring them into the center of your mind, uniting them. In the Kemetic teachings, this is where you would form your Merkaba, 2 triangles overlapping, becoming a multi-dimensional 8-pointed star. And we're just clearing thoughts, letting them pass, acknowledging them, but not letting them take our attention, and calling in focus and clarity for this short little exercise today. Now I'd like you to drop from your head into the center of your chest. And you feel, you sense, you maybe see a beautiful pale silver sphere in the center of your chest. And it's just pulsating there, bright and beautiful, inviting you to step into the center of your heart space. And as you drop deeper into your heart space, you sense, you feel, you might see a beautiful golden lotus. And as a closed rose, this lotus is still closed. And as you focus on this lotus in your heart, it senses your energy. And it starts to slowly open, petal by petal. And as it opens in your heart, let your heart space open. Breathing in deeply and just feeling the love that this lotus is projecting. And we're going to step up onto this golden lotus. And you're going to feel the flames of divine love by your feet. 144 flames of divine love, like wisdom, clarity, generosity, sovereignty, forgiveness, beauty, joy. They're all by your feet. And these flames are just burning away anything that isn't yours today. Any projection you might have received from somebody else. Any cord attachment might have happened while you were scrolling or reading the newspaper or watching the news attached to fear. Any self-doubt, self-talk, bad talk that might creep in every now and then. It's just all being burnt away. And there's nothing left in your field except pure, divine, Mother, Father, God love. You might feel taller, brighter, lighter as these flames do their work. You may repeat this exercise at any time and stay in this heart space as long as you feel needed. And when you are ready, step off of your beautiful golden lotus with a heart full of gratitude and come back fully and totally to the here and now, to this space in this room and this time, feeling lighter, brighter, and remembering that you have always been supported and your portal to heaven and earth has always been in your own heart.
Beautiful, Melanie. Thank you so, so much. It's such a pleasure to have you on the podcast today and
Thank you
just to
so much for
share.
the
Oh,
opportunity.
so beautiful. Thank you so much. And I hope all the listeners enjoyed that now as well. What a gift you are. And thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, thank you.
Blessings to you all.